I promised to tell you who these two are. And the names are, as you can see on the screen, it's Håkun Lie, and I don't know, I might, I cannot say I'm good at, pronouncing their names because I don't know how they're supposed to be pronounced. But, and now we have Bert Bose. What about these two guys then? What did they do and what did I mention them? Like, Tim Berners-Lee, if you recall the last lecture about HTML, these two also have a big part in what happened. But specifically, in this case, it's more about CSS. Håkun Lie and Bert Bose. Well, I'll start with Håkun. He first proposed the concept of cascading style sheets, the one we just talked about, CSS, in 1994, while working at CERN. So he worked at the same place as Tim Berners-Lee, envisioning a way, to separate content from presentation on the web. This idea was groundbreaking because it allowed developers to control the look and feel of multiple web pages with a single style sheet. So you mean I write code on one place and that can actually can make my design look the same across a lot of pages. And that is a really good thing because people when we get accustomed to design, it's easier to navigate that design and locate the information that we want. And when we get what we want, the developer get what it wants, and everyone is happy. It's really a win-win. And you see, that makes everything so flexible. Bert Bose, who was developing his own browser, joined forces with Håkun at this point, and together they refined the CSS specification, the rules for how CSS is supposed to be used. Their collaboration led to the first official CSS standard. So there's standards for HTML, there are standards for CSS, of course, which was then adopted at the World Wide Web Consortium, which we talked about in the last lecture when we introduced, had a discussion about W3C, W3C, and what working group and so on. And this happened in 1996, so 2 years after Håkun Lie first proposed CSS as a way of making things better. Since then, both Håkun and Bert have been instrumental in involving CSS, ensuring it remains a robust and versatile tool for the web designers worldwide. So, in this way as well, as you dive into this course to learn more about CSS, which is a very large part of this course, it's even larger than HTML. Remember that Håkun Lie and Bert Bose are the visionaries behind the stylish and dynamic web pages we create today. Their work laid the foundation for modern web design, making them true pioneers, deserving of your recognition. I hope that you take this to heart, because so many things that we take for granted out there are because of these three guys. Or at least they're a large part of it. Of course, they had help. But they were the main protagonists of the creation behind HTML and CSS. And with that, will head on to the next part of this lecture.